Hello everybody, welcome to another rapid speedrun game against Spinola 80. So let's once again try the Nimzowitsch. Will they go d4? There we go. Okay, now we have it. So now, the whole idea is to play e5 on our terms. Our terms are, you push, we move our knight, and then we take this queen's knight, which normally stays on the queen's side, and we shuttle it to the king's side. So we have this extra attacker. Now, why do we even want that extra attacker? What's so good about a knight on g6? That knight on g6 stares at f4. And combined with the natural knight going to h5, they're both looking at the square. So if we jump one knight there and he takes it, we can replace it. And that's a very strong knight. So that's the idea. Now he hits our knight. And you may say, do we take this? Absolutely not. Bringing his queen into our position like this. Hanging stuff, not a big deal. We want to go to g6 anyway, so we ignore him. And if he takes us, he develops our queen, not vice versa. So you see, everything's going to be on our terms because we make the rules. So now our knight's here, and admittedly, knights here sometimes are bad or awkward. He takes, we have to take, and now we have good piece activity, great lines for our queen already. But we have a plan for this knight. It's going to use these dark squares to attack his king. Sometimes in unforeseen ways. So that's what is alluring about this opening. So he develops the knight. What's the threat? Some pressure, but no threat. Fine. I think maybe we should get our bishop out. Maybe even before the knight. I mean, the knight does come with a threat, though, so actually I changed that. Let's do the knight since it comes to the threat, which means it's for free, and then we could do the bishop. But if it wasn't for free, like if this was defended already, maybe I would have prioritized the bishop, just in case for whatever reason I wanted to close the pawn chain quickly. Okay, so you're going to get bishop g5 a lot in your games, even at higher levels, and it's not a good move because the bishop does not want to trade for this knight, so we don't mind. So we're going to make the automatic h6, provoking it, because he probably thinks, ooh, I'm messing up his pawn structure. It's got to be good for me. But actually, this is good for black. So now you know he just gave up his dark square bishop. So what's more important? These pawns, which are actually a pawn mass controlling the center, or the bishop pair, and it's going to be the bishop pair. He develops his knight, looks at the center. We can immediately develop our bishop with threats. If he blocks, we can double isolate his pawns, which is not the same as our pawns because ours are not isolated, the double ones. So that's an option. Already, I really like our position. We're going to have knight f4. We're going to have rook g8. Good stuff. Our king, he won't be able to attack it, so I'm not worried about that. Now, his knight does have the potential to jump here, so it does make sense to develop and restrict. So we get a bonus, and he gets a detriment at the same time. So it has double value. If he kicks us, we will snap that off and take, so that's not good for him. He should find a way to defend it. With the queen, I imagine. Okay, so he picks that square. But that square does run into this move, so maybe the wrong square. Maybe d2 is more preferable. So let's see, what's the threat? I mean, my king diagonals aren't exposed, and I speak about how the diagonals are what's important to the king safety. I haven't spoke about it a lot, maybe in like 1 or 2 videos that I don't even know if I've published them yet. So anyway, my king is safe, moral of the story. I don't see a downside to improving for free here. After he moves his queen back, and let's say in the future, 3 moves from now, he kicks my knight, I have the beautiful e6 square, which looks at a lot of stuff and is protected with a bunch of bodyguards, so I like it a lot. It also gets out of the way from our rook preemptively, and that would be a threat. So we're building up our position. Don't focus too much on pawns. Yes, they matter, but they're the lowest rung of what matters. So he moves the queen, forgets all about the reason he put it there, to defend the knight. So queen d2 I feel like was the correct response, but he moves it away. What's the threat? Well, he's obviously hitting the bishop, but what else? Nothing else. So now we just take free stuff, and now he collapses entirely due to this crazy fork. And this is a 1300 who just walked into an extremely obvious, not even a tactic, it's just a takes sequence. I mean, I guess it's a tactic, but it wasn't a trick, right? Like, we didn't try to trick him. We were very much telegraphing our intentions when we put the bishop here and the queen here. You have to consider, what if he takes? How am I going to respond, right? Like, it's not a trick. And now he has no response, and it's like, what? Weird, very weird from someone 1300. That's not 300, you know, it's a decent rating. So he moves his king. Do we have a checkmate? I don't see it because we're locked in a bit. But we do have two super pieces, and we're up a rook. So you can't complain. Okay, so now what do we do? There's more free stuff. Now he does have a bishop and a queen that could both use this square. If I kick it, saying that it's an improvement for free, can he move his queen to an even better square? Because then it's not so much for free. Where would he move his queen? Here? Here? I mean, I'm not worried about any specific square. Here, forward, attacking this maybe? Yeah, I don't want to waste my turn on that, actually. Not even a little bit. You could castle. It's entirely safe. But I kind of just want to keep running my queen around the board. I guess his bishop is limited because of his rook. He's going to play this and then fianchetto to hit my queen. So I don't think I actually want my queen there. So I'm going to take some more free stuff. Just get it out of this alignment so I don't fall for any tricks later. He could still play g3 and we can still just rebound it. Boing, boing. And we don't need, okay, so he moves the bishop, develops it, hangs the pawn, but attacks our queen. I mean, it's fine. We don't really mind it. If you try something like queen a6, he can move his queen with an x-ray attack on your queen. I mean, you could probably move your queen again. It's not a big deal. But we also could just go to a dark square, which makes life easy as well. So let's go to a3 because he has a light square bishop. So he can't attack it. And it's even a better square than a2. Like, we went to a2 because we took a pawn, but if that pawn wasn't there, we would have chosen a3 to begin with, not a2. Because it's just a better square with more mobility, right? We automatically have a check that consolidates. So he takes a pawn and says, aha, you take my knight, check, you move your king, and then I take the knight back, winning a pawn. Good try, which is like, it's a clever tactic, which is why I'm surprised he hung the other one, but doesn't work here either. If you take this and he takes this, you could move your knight back, but your rook's also hanging, right? So it's a very clever tactic. But you don't have to take immediately, and that's the key to the line. We can bring the queen with check, and that ruins everything. Now, if he retreats, saying, okay, I snatched a pawn, I mean, we're up 6 points of material, so that pawn doesn't matter at all, and we get in a bunch of trades, so. But he has to do it because you hang the knight otherwise. So he goes there, and trades are automatic wins when you're up so much material. Let's get all of his resources off the board. You see how when they make a move like that, we slow down, we think, we look at all of our options, we evaluate, and then we choose the right one. We don't panic, we don't auto move, you know, we don't have like, oh man, I missed that, it's like a chess. We don't do that. There's no point. So anyway, he takes, you have some random checks, but there's no point. You could do whatever you want, really. I'd like to get my pieces in the game. This may look funny, but I think it works. So castling is like a whatever move. You could do it. You're still completely winning. Any move is completely winning here, other than a queen blunder. So I'm just going to go here. It comes with a threat, but my intention is really rook g5, just activating my piece. Because to activate my bishop, I would have to play b6, which I might play. But I feel like the rook is stronger and it already has a clear path. Let's use it. And now my position's really good. I mean, it was really good before, but now we're flushing away his queen. What's the threat? Well, he's threatening this pawn, so he takes stock. We don't necessarily have to go b6. We could try to get our bishop out to e6, which is a nice diagonal. Do we want to give him more pawns? I want to let him have this because after we move our king, he has no follow-up. His bishop's just misplaced. So can I further my development and give him a pawn? As a matter of fact, can I just sack my b pawn as well to go rook b8, which is deadly? I like that a lot. Super energetic. It's got to be the best engine move, right? b5. Probably. Let's go b5. Sacrifice 2 different pawns. He'll probably go for this, as most players in his rating range will take a pawn with check for sure. I don't think it matters which way you go with your king, but I'm going to go towards this way on instinct. And now my bishop has mobility. These are also passed pawns, by the way. This pawn's also not hanging anymore, so you can use it as an asset. So he moves the bishop to attack the rook. But we're up 5 points of material. So what do I do when I'm up so much, guys? What's the easiest way to simplify your life? Even though it's definitely not the best engine move. That's right. Give up your rook for this centralized active bishop. If he takes with the queen, he auto loses, right? Because you're up a bishop. If he takes with the pawn, he ruins his structure. And you're up a clean bishop in this version. So we like it. This pawn also protects our king, which is funny. And it's not long for this world because we were setting up for bishop here, which hits this. Now we do have 2 connected, well, they would be connected if we pushed it past pawns. You don't have to let him take this, but I don't really care. So I'm going to let him take it, hang another pawn. I don't care about my pawns. I plan on getting my bishop to the center of the board where it has access to the maximum number of squares. And that's going to have way more impact than some pawn that's actually not doing anything. So he takes it. Greedy little bugger. If I actually take with the queen, that looks like it forces a queen trade, but he can throw in a dark square check, which ruins the alignment. So let's take with the bishop, which also hits the rook, defends their king from any checks, and we're ready to go rook b8 for free, rook c8 not for free. And this is one way to convert, right? You didn't have to give up your rook before, but it just makes life easy. You know, you just took his best piece off the board, and then he gets sad. So he moves the rook, notices. What's the threat? Well, the only potential square would be this one, but not a threat. So it makes a ton of sense to bring our last piece in for free with potential checks, and his king is not safe. Sure, we can't do anything in this second, but At any moment, I feel like he can get mated if he does one wrong misstep. And okay, our king's a little airy at this time, so it'd be great to take his queen if we could. Just so we don't have to think about anything, right? I like to play chess, but I don't have to think or calculate, and that's not always possible. So he moves his queen. What's the threat? If I move my rook, he wants to get in. I don't care about this pawn. I care about my king and perpetuals. But first things first, his king. Okay, so this guarantees the queen trade. So we like that. And I'm also looking ahead of that. After the queen trade, and he gives me this random check, and I move my king, and he hits these pawns, at the very least, we can bring our rook back with the bishop support and flush him out, right? So I'm making sure he's also not getting super active or going to win 3 pawns out of nowhere and we get a draw. I mean, trading queens is not necessary. Like, you have better engine moves, I imagine, but humanly speaking, this auto wins, so what do I care about the eval inaccuracies? Like, that's totally irrelevant. That's like a meta game. That's a game in itself, caring what the engine thinks, but it has nothing to do with chess. And I imagine he's going to throw his rook somewhere. Giving me the random check is worse because it encourages my king to move up the board and protect one of the pawns he could attack immediately. But he's not high enough rated to understand that, so we don't mind. Now, we don't have to, though. Like, if we go here and he gets to try to attack this pawn, I mean, yeah, it doesn't matter, but we can also maximize by not giving him anything. And again, whether we move our king to the right or left, he's still helping us move up the board, right? So it's a bad move no matter what. But I'm thinking, what if we go here and just protect everything? And now when he goes here, we have this. And now he literally can't win anything, trade anything. I mean, he can trade the rooks, but then just resign. And so I think king g7 is a bit clever as a prophylactic move. So we gave up on any king attacks, mating ideas, but when you're up a bishop, you don't need that stuff, right? So we already had this pre-planned, and the game will end shortly. He does have a almost 4-minute time advantage, which is to his benefit. And if you ever have 4 minutes up on your clock like this, okay, this is +5, but, and most of you guys don't play increment. So let's say you're in your 10+0 game and you're up 4 minutes like this. The guy's a minute 45. Even if you're down a bishop, you still play and try to make the best moves. Okay, so he attacks our bishop, which has no effect at all and makes no sense. You can actually secure it on either square. Which one makes more sense? I guess this diagonal is kind of not doing anything. But this diagonal prevents pawn pushes. And this diagonal, although it looks nice, I'm going to stay more centralized and I'm going to keep an eye on the advance over here. Now that this is all protected and he can't do anything with a single rook, another reason if your opponent has 2 rooks, you want to trade one to remove his coordinating power and therefore counterplay. Because with just 1 rook, you can't actually attack anything, but with 2, you can make threats. So he moves his king, and now we have a rook and pawn that we can gallivant with. So let's start with rook pressure, and then we can go rook a2, advance our pawn, and slowly win the game. He goes there, which doesn't do anything, but threatens to get behind the pawn, which is fine, but all it does is delay you losing the game, right? It's not a threat, doesn't do anything. It is the correct placement for a rook to be behind the pawn, both his and mine. But he doesn't even do that. He gives up a pawn and allows me to come back next turn to defend my own. So this is also incorrect, so we take free stuff. Now if he goes rook a7, I'm not going to take the free pawn. He doesn't even do it. He just advances his pawns, tries to save them at all costs, which is fine. I'm just going to push my pawn. I really want to get it to a2 because that's where my bishop is, and then I don't need my rook. Wow, he lets me. He should have put his rook behind me, so forcing. I mean, I'm not forced, but a human will play rook a2. I could also go aggressive, but now I'm definitely going to push and get it to a2 and just leave it there. Okay, I'm not going to leave it there. I'm going to get a queen because I can. But in a normal game, when he's stopping me from getting a queen, I would just leave it here, right? With the threat of a queen, tying down his rook. But in this case, I can actually get a queen. So I'm going to get a queen. Okay, he moves his king in. Sacking your rook obviously doesn't do anything. So how do we get a queen? We need to support the queening square. This takes 2 turns, but sometimes is necessary in other positions. But in this position, you could do it in 1 turn. Defend the square. I assume he's going to sack or resign. So you could see that the conversion is just guaranteed, right? It's a matter of technique, as they say. And if you're confident in your technique, then do what I did and give material back to simplify into that established winning technique. But you have to know it, and you have to know it's winning. Like, you know what I mean? So there's the resignation. Let's get an analysis board. The Nimzowitsch defense Kennedy variation, it says. I don't know about any names of the Nimzowitsch variations, but I'm just glad he played d4. No. We have a blunder. Otherwise, perfect game. Not even inaccuracies. You can't see the graph. It's just dominant black except for that blunder. Okay, let's see what that was. So anyway, center and development. Force move. Forced move. Force move. Development for free and center. No, I auto moved and this was the blunder. So if I'm not auto moving and I'm not looking at the engine. Oh my god, I'm so dumb. I literally put my knight here because it came with the threat. That's why I chose it over the bishop. And then the second he goes here, I don't take the pawn because I forgot. Wow. You know why? It's because I just recently looked at the Nimzowitsch, right? Like I had no knowledge of it before. And in the material I was looking at, they were always saying how bishop g5 was a bad move and how you just play h6. And so my mind was in la la land in that material. And I've totally neglected the position in front of me, which happens to me sometimes when I'm trying to reference knowledge. And oh my god. Okay. Fair enough. I agree with the engine this time. I have nothing to say other than whoops. That's so frustrating though. Okay, it'll happen. Not in a real game, but it'll happen. Okay, so anyway, improve our position for free, but you get the point of what I was trying to do with h6. Force him to trade and get the bishop pair. Already I like this. We have this move coming, this move coming, this move coming. We could develop the bishop a number of ways. I like it. It's interesting at the least, right? It's fun. And now from here on, black is just better and completely dominating with no inaccuracies. So we'll take it. It'll make up for our terrible blunder. And by blunder, it's not that we lost the game. It's that we missed a free pawn. So anyway, development and prophylaxis and for free. Improving a piece for free. He has to go queen e2 or queen e3 to stay in touch with the knight. Second he goes anywhere else, it's just -4 and higher. Just lost because he hangs the pawn followed by the rook. So free stuff for free. You have any number of moves. If you don't want to take the pawn, you can go rook g8, which creates this threat. You can go knight e6, rerouting the knight. You could castle, normal stuff. We take free stuff for free and prophylaxis. Okay, force move. You could also have tried a6, but then you have to calculate. I don't want to calculate. Okay, he does this sacrifice. We have anything that wins because we're up a rook, right? So just don't take the knight, which still wins for black, but is the hardest variation to look at Because if he takes this, now he's threatening this and this. You bring your knight back. He takes your rook. I don't know. Even if you do this, 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 even if you go down this line, you do end up a piece still. So I guess it's possible, but obviously not the best move. What we played is clearly better and stronger, forcing the knight back. And now trades or wins, so that's an easy decision. Now we improve a piece for free. Improve a piece for free. Improve a piece for free. And I'm curious, is this the best move by the engine? Because I was sure it would be. Okay, it's definitely on the list. It keeps moving up. Wait. Okay, so it's tied for the top with two other moves. So b5, king d8, which I'm not going to play. I'll tell you that right now. And queen d4. I also don't really like that move because it's just one piece. Even after that check, I don't have any other guys to bring in. So I'd like my move by far the best of the three, b5, trying to bring in new pieces for free. Okay, force move, you can go wherever you want. Oh, it is the best engine move. Okay. I actually didn't expect the engine to say it was best to take. But I guess the bishop is strong enough that it becomes the best engine-wise too. Interesting. I guess you're just so winning. But even then, I mean, you could just move your rook. Like, you don't have to give up your rook. You could definitely just go rook b8, bishop b7. But okay. Anyway, we take free stuff because trades are wins. Developing for free. Free stuff. And good development. Improve a piece for free. Improve a piece for free. Forcing trades. Trades are wins. Force move. Force move. Force move. Improve a piece restricting his king. When you have a pass pawn, push it. That's the whole moral of the story. Push it. That's the goal. If you can get behind it, great. If your opponent can get behind it, he'll try to stop it. Free stuff. Push the pawn. Push the pawn. Push the pawn. And it doesn't really matter what happens. But so that was a great game, other than missing that pawn. But that's because he blundered a rook. So we're going to take it. We'll leave it in even with the blunder. So you guys know I'm human as well. Don't expect too much from me. That's always nice. Good luck in your chess. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.